Hi everyone, in this video I'm going to show you a couple of the modifiers in Blender, how they work and how to control them. So here I have the default cube, and if I want to edit this, let's say give it round corners or change the shape, I can go to object mode, go down to edit mode and use any number of the editing tools here to transform the shape. However, depending on the shape you're wanting or the effect that you're going for, there are shortcuts and tools available in Blender to help you realize that, and they're found in the Modifiers tab, which is this little blue spanner over on the right hand side. The additional benefit of the Modifiers tab, well, one of many, is that they also work in object mode, so you don't necessarily need to jump in and out of object and edit mode. You can just stay in the default workspace. So let's do that now. Let's jump back from edit mode to object mode, and let's open up our Modifiers tab. If you haven't used these before, then you'll just have an add modifier bar right at the very top. And when we click on that, we have a huge range of modifiers that we can apply to our scene, and each one of these will do a number of things. They're split into columns, which will already give you an indication of what they do. So we have modify, generate, deform, and physics. And generate is quite a popular menu because it has very familiar things like bevel and array and boolean, things that you'll become very familiar with if you aren't already. Let's go down to one of the most popular, which is Subdivision Surface, and click, and it's automatically applied. Now each modifier works in a different way. Subdivision works by subdividing the geometry, increasing it, and also smoothing effectively. It smooths out the shape. If I go to this setting here where it says levels viewport, for example, I can increase that, and you can see that my object gets more detailed and much smoother. I can click on the X here to remove that modifier at any time and go back and apply it if I wish. Let's bump those viewport up to 3 so we see a nice detailed sphere here. Let's go to edit mode very quickly, and you can see that we have two views. We have the modified shape in the center, but highlighted orange is the original mesh that we edited. So you can see here that my cube is still here. I can still see the shape, but what's in the center is what I will actually get. And this is really good because it allows you to apply modifiers to smooth things out and to shape things differently, but you can keep the original mesh, which is really simple, and edit things much easier. It's much easier to edit this cube with its 8 points than this sphere with however many it has now. I can press G to grab, for example, and it deforms the whole shape. I can see it with the Subdivision Surface modifier on. I could spend hours talking about modifiers, but I'm just going to go through some of the basic ones and talk a little bit about how they work, just to give you an insight into the capabilities of Blender. Let's do Ctrl-Z to undo that, and let's get rid of the Subdivision Surface modifier. Let's jump back to object mode, and let's add an array modifier. And an array basically works by copying your shape, but you can control what it's doing. For example, I can increase the count, so I've now got 10 copies. I can increase the offset, which increases the gap, and I can do that on all 3 axes. So this is a very quick way of making a staircase, for example. And I can actually offset around an object if I wish. Bonus, if I go back to edit mode, again, I can change the shape and it will change all the others. So you're starting to see here that modifiers are incredibly time-saving because you retain every step you've done. You can control the geometry, you can control the effect, and you can always delete it if anything goes wrong or you want to start again. I'll show you one more. Let's go to add modifier and ocean. And you can see that we've got a drastic change now. It's changed that cube into a plane of water. that I've seen many students try and sculpt by hand in the past, and this just shows you the power of the modifiers. If we go to the wave setting, we can change the scale, we can change the kind of resolution and the choppiness, wind velocity. We can even bump up the resolution to get a bit more texture in there. We can even go to time and animate it. It really is that simple. Not only could I go through all these modifiers and spend hours talking about them, but there's so many settings and combinations with all of our regular tools in Blender that they take such a long time to go through. You'll use kind of the regular ones, you'll use specific modifiers for specific tasks. Some of these you might not touch, but they're massively powerful and a great addition to Blender. So there we go, there's just a quick introduction to Blender and its modifiers.